Hi student, Assalamu alaikum. Today we have very important discussions, and first of all, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and welcome back on my channel. Today we have very important discussions related to chapter number 9 of your textbook. Chapter number 9 is based on a very important topic that is related to the hypothesis difference between two means and variances. And student, we have already covered a hypothesis related to the z test and a hypothesis related to the t test. And today we have discussion related to how you will apply the z test with respect to the two variances and two means. Now, what is the formula that we will apply here? First of all, z equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar minus mu1 bar minus mu2 bar, and similarly variance of what? The variance of sample 1 and the variance of sample 2, and these are the two sample. And what is the objective is here? First of all, just let's say, assume here we have two samples from population. Okay, what kind of the sample? Let's say now I am going to select the number of students, and in two categories, some are female student and some are male student. Okay, we have selected the sample of two categories of the student, male and female. Sample of two categories, sample of male student and female students. Okay, male and female students, and from the population. And we assume here total size of sample is n1 for, let's say, male student, similarly n2 for female student. What does it mean? Number of male, number of female. So n1 and n2 are the number of males and female in your sample, and sigma 1 and sigma 2 are variances of sample. Okay, variances of samples. Variances of samples. And similarly, x1 bar represent mean of male student Similarly, x2 bar mean of female students. You got my point. And mu1 and mu2 are population mean. Population mean for female and population mean for male. mu1 and mu2 are two population mean of males and females. Males and female. What is the objective is here? There are three kinds of hypothesis here. First of all, H naught, null hypothesis. There is no difference between mean of male and female with respect to population. So it means mu1 equal to mu2. There is no difference between mean of two populations, either it is male and female. And what about the H naught here? There is difference between these two population mean. It is the case of two tail, or how you can write it, or you can write it H naught mu1 minus mu2 equal to 0. मैं इसको इधर लेकर आ जाऊंगा. So h1 mu1 minus mu2 equal to 0. And what about alternative is here mu1 minus mu2 not equal to 0. So what we need to do it here, what our requirement is here, our requirement is here that we have to reject H naught again as like our previous practice. Similarly we have to accept H1 here. हमें H naught reject करनी है and we have to accept H1. Okay, so this is kind of the two tail test. Okay, in case of one tail, okay, H naught mu1 greater than mu2, okay, and what about this one? For example, again sorry, H naught again mu1 equal to mu2 and H1 is here mu1 greater than mu2. Okay, it is right hand, right tail. What about the left tail? Again H naught mu1 equal to mu2 and H1 mu1 less than mu2. Okay, so look at here. In case of chapter number 9, difference between two means and variance, what is the criteria to test hypothesis? The criteria to test hypothesis, that is Z calculated value. You will have to learn this formula in case of two means and two variances. You got my point? When the two variances and two means are given, yani we have categorized the sample with respect to two categories, either these are male or female or something else, for example adults and young, or let's say we say that के number of students or number of non-student, number of graduates or number of non-graduates. So you can categorize with respect to any categories, okay, and select the sample of these two categories from the population of graduate and non-graduate student and assign and calculate the mean and variances of these values. And what is the claim or what is the objective is here? Objective is here कि now you have to test the null hypothesis and you have to test the alternative hypothesis. Again, what is the null hypothesis? Either you will have the two tail or one tail. Null hypothesis always will be a same कि mean of two population mu1 mu2 will be equal to each other in case of two tail, or in case of one tail you can check either it is right hand tail or left hand tail. Mu1 and mu2 are equal to each other. Then in case of right tail mu1 greater than mu2, and in case of the left tail mu1 less than mu2. So these are the three alternative hypotheses. Alternative hypothesis may be three, but null hypothesis always will be same for either you are going to apply one tail test or you are applying the two tail test. Okay, you got my point. Okay, so now you will calculate again this calculated value from this formula and compare this calculated value with respect to what? With respect to the critical value of the z test. Critical values from you get from the table. Okay, so there are some standard critical values which you have to learn easily, जो आप उसको याद कर सकते हो, and then you will compare these critical values with respect to the calculated value. Okay, move forward. What are the critical values here? Then we will move towards the question. Okay, so alpha equal to 0.05, z 0.05, it is plus minus 1.95. okay, area under the curve, normal distribution, what? Area under the normal distribution, alpha equal to 0.05, area under the normal distribution is 95%. In case of alpha 0.05, area under the normal distribution is 95% and the critical values z 0.05 is equal to plus minus 1.95. okay, when alpha equal to what? 0.01. okay, so z 0.01, it is plus minus what? Plus minus 2.57. 2.57. So 0.01, it means that it is 1%. So what about the area? Area will be 99%. Area under the normal distribution will be 99%. When alpha equal to 0.02, so z 0.02 equal to 1 point plus minus 1 point, sorry, 2.33 and area is 98%. Area is 98%. When value of alpha is 0.10, it means that it is 10%. So Z 0.10 equal to 1.96, 1 point plus minus 1.96, and area it is 90%. Okay, so just try to learn these critical values which are commonly used in case of testing of hypothesis when you apply a Z test. Okay, so it is easiest way to solve your questions quickly to learn these values. What about these values? Z alpha 0.05, you can check from the table. We have discussed in the classroom how you can check the values of Z table through the table. Clear? So now you will have Z 0.05 plus minus 1.95, and similarly alpha 0.0, that is 99%, and the critical values is 2.57, and similarly 0.02 critical values plus minus 2.33. Area under the curve is 98%, and so on. The area under the curve. You have to check, compare this calculated value with respect to these critical values as compared to as per your requirement of the questions. If the alpha either given 10%, 5% or 2% in your questions, then you will compare your calculated value with respect to that critical value. Okay, now move forward towards the question. Question is what? Question is what? A researcher hypothesis that the average number of sports. Question is that a researcher hypothesis that the average number of sports average number of sports that the college offer for male, that average number of sports that the college offers for male is greater than for females. Okay, अब now what you need to do it, you need to calculate null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is that for example, what about that average of statistics are given, sample mean population standard deviation and alpha 0.10. Sample mean is for what? For male and for female students. Okay, sample means for male and female student. Okay, this one. Male and females. Okay, so what about the sample mean? Sample mean is given, for example, 64510 and 62900. Population standard deviation is what? 8200 and 7800. Okay, a researcher hypothesizes that the average number of sports that the college offers for male is greater than for female, and these are the given statistics or the data sets that the sample mean of for male student is 64,510. Similarly, population standard deviation is 8,200, and similarly the sample mean for the female student is 62,900 and 7,800 for the standard deviation. Okay, alpha is 10%, that is equal to 0.10%. Now you have to test what? Greater than. Okay, look at here, offer the male is greater than for female. Okay, so it means कि what about your H naught? H naught is here, solution. H naught is here, mu1 equal to mu2. Similarly, H1 is here, mu1 greater than, the case of greater than. Look at is here, the case of greater than. So mu1 greater than mu2. Right? Now calculate this Z table. Z calculated value. Z calculated value. What are the given? X1 bar equal to 64,510, x2 bar equal to 62,900, and similarly standard deviations yani sigma are given, sigma 1 equal to 8200 and sigma 2 equal to 7800. Clear? Calculate this value and number of student. Okay, so now look at this one. First of all, one important thing is here, n is also given. what N1 and N2 both are 45. N1 equal to N2, it is equal to 45 students. Okay. What does it mean? A researcher selected two categories of student, male and female. Male is 45, female is 45 student. Clear? And now test the hypothesis that male is greater than female. Yani average of male is greater than female. Okay? You have to test the hypothesis. Average number of sports that offer for male is greater than that offer for female. You have to test the hypothesis. So all the values are given. Just substitute here. It is very basic question. Just substitute here to calculate the Z value. So Z calculated is here. What? Acha, this value mu1 minus mu2. Because of the null hypothesis, it is always equal to 0. हमेशा उसको हम 0 लेंगे. Okay? So mu1 minus mu2, always take it 0. Always take it 0. Okay? So now substitute here what? X1 minus X bar. So it is 64,510 minus 62,9,200, and mu1 minus mu2 is 0. Mu1 minus mu2 equal to 0. Okay, always equal to 0. Divide by this value by square root of what? It is sigma. So now you will have the sigma square. Okay, you will have the sigma square. So now here 800 square divided by 45 plus 7800 square divided by 45. Now calculate this value. So your answer is here. What? Your final answer is here. So your final answer is, I am just going to write the final answer. The final answer after solving, taking the square of these values and then divide by 45. And again take the square of 7,800 and divided by the 45, and then add these two values and subtract the numerator and then divide. So final answer is that 0.954. Okay, 0.954. Okay, what about the, so it means with the help of this formula, Z is 0.954. Okay. So now, what about Z alpha? Yani Z 0.1%. Z 0.1%. It is plus minus 1.96. So Z 0.1%. It is plus minus 1.96. Okay, plus minus 1.96. Now compare, draw a graph here. Plus 1.96 minus 1.96. Okay, compare this value. Z less than, okay, less than Z 0.10. So okay, so it means that this value except H naught, okay, except H naught. Clear? So we accept H naught. Why we accept H naught? Because Z calculated value it is 0.954, that is less than this value, lies between this region. Okay, so now your Z value lies here, something here. Okay, will be something here 0.95. You got my point? So your Z value will be 0.95. Okay, it is Z value. Lies here. Okay, so it means कि accept H naught, reject H1. So now that was the questions related to the chapter number 9, hypothesis, difference between two means and variance. Okay, now we are moving towards the another questions. Okay, that is related to the confidence interval. So wait for my next video. Thank you so much. I think student, hopefully that concept you will have clear concept related to the hypothesis when you will have the two means and two variances. Okay, so thank you so much. Allah Hafiz. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.